The world's biggest video game show, E3, has just delivered an absolute wealth of new announcements, enough to excite even the most hardened gamer. Old friend Luke Westaway from Outside Extra is joining us to tell us what really mattered from the show and what you should be excited for in the year ahead. Welcome to the CNET UK podcast. Hello and welcome to the show, and welcome back, Luke.
Hello.
It has been a while since we've had you.
It's been too long.
Too long. It's been a few months, I think.
Yeah, it's all changed. This brick work is new.
It is, and you weren't in video form last time you were on the show. We
No.
were in your living room, I think. I was stroking your cat, and
Yeah.
you were drinking a cup of tea.
Yeah. Happier times.
Yeah, better days, better days.
Now I have to think about my posture and where my eyebrows are because we're being recorded.
You did ask if you wanted to put powder on before, and then we said, nah, it's fine.
no.
We're not really a powder sort of podcast.
So if you are watching the video version of this and you're thinking, Luke could look better, just be aware that I tried. I tried.
And I shut it down because I didn't want you to look better than me, because I don't have powder.
I could have powdered us both.
I only wish we'd have done that now. Luke, you have been out at E3, of course, and how was the show?
It was good. It was a really good year for announcements, actually. Yeah. Well, there were a few big surprises. You don't always get surprises at E3 because a lot of stuff leaks beforehand.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, there were a few big shocks. There were a few things that we thought we were going to be there that weren't, which we can come on to later.
Yeah.
Because I think that's kind of interesting as well, the things that you expect that you don't get.
Absolutely.
That get withheld. But yeah, generally, it was a strong show.
I mean, I think for me, I've really noticed that there's been nothing really talked about in terms of hardware, which is not surprising because we're not expecting a new PlayStation, a new Xbox, a new Switch.
It won't be long.
No, because we just had the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro, right? Like last year before, so I wouldn't.
Yeah, well, last year and year before, yeah. But you know, they tried to bring these things out sort of fairly regularly to keep.
See, I feel like you've got an industry insider, a bit of.
I have
knowledge
no. I genuinely have no insider.
Something
insight.
you picked up in the back room in a meeting.
Yeah, in a sort of smoky room behind closed doors.
Westaway, let me tell you about the new PlayStation. Oh yes, please. Well,
I like the voice you do for me.
It's gonna blow you away.
Why am I not cool in this situation?
Would you anticipate being the cool one? You know,
No,
in this noir scene that I've mentally painted.
I wouldn't anticipate being there at all, which is why I don't get the insider insight. I think Microsoft in particular will be keen to get a new Xbox out as soon as they possibly can, because they have not really been the winner of this generation. As much as the console wars are nonsense and you shouldn't buy into it as a consumer, from Microsoft's point of view, they have not really excelled in the same way.
If you're looking spec for spec, they're not really a rivaling.
And in terms of like, they've not. I don't think it's controversial to say they've not done as well on exclusive games for the Xbox. That was something that they were going like big for this year. There were a couple of tasty-looking exclusives. Actually, a new Halo got announced. Yeah. But a lot of games get announced at E3 in a way that doesn't really mean anything. It's like, do you think they were ever going to make a new Halo? Of course they were.
Absolutely. We knew that was going to happen.
So the fact that they confirm that there is one and show you a logo and like 2 seconds of lovely CGI trailer, that's sort of, well, yes, obviously. They pulled the same trick with, Bethesda pulled the same trick with the Elder Scrolls.
Elder Scrolls 6, yeah.
Elder Scrolls 6, which is very, very exciting until you think, well, hang on, obviously they were always going to make one. All they've confirmed is that
they are considering it, and it probably won't be until 2022. This may as well have been announced at E3 2021 as in the next year or two, there will be an Elder Scrolls 6, because it will be that long, because they've got an entire other franchise to come out first. But before we get too deep into that, so we said we've got no real new hardware, but you said there's been some big surprises.
Yeah.
What's taken off your socks?
The biggest surprise.
Other than your hands.
The biggest surprise. And my personal sock remover.
Yes, of course. But you did take them.
Yeah, when you join YouTube, you get assigned a sock
Well, I assumed as much.
Was
it one for each foot, or did they do?
No. Used to be, but times are tough.
It's tight.
So, now it's one person does both socks
at once.
Once, yeah. What are we talking about? Oh yeah, surprises.
Surprises.
The biggest surprise, the thing that rocked my socks all the way off, was Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
Now this is the new game from CD Projekt Red, who you may not have heard of because they're not a huge name really, but they are the developers of The Witcher 3, which is one of the most popular and one of the best games of the last.
And that's an
few
RPG,
years.
isn't it?
It's a big open world fantasy RPG. It's got swords, it's got monsters, it's got magic.
Sounds like something I would love, considering I'm a huge fan of Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls. I have never played The Witcher.
You should, you really should, because it's spectacular. It's a brilliant, brilliant game. It's got everything that I know you like.
Yeah.
It's got that sort of huge world. It's got a billion quests and hundreds of hours, and you can play through it again and again with different character builds and stuff like that.
Can you see like the existential crisis I'm currently having, having missed out on such an important thing for me?
You can still play it.
I can still play it. When was The Witcher 3 out?
Oh gosh, I want to say 2014 or 2015.
Witcher 3.
Let's check that.
Checking that now. 10 out of 10 on Steam. Oh, it's on Steam. I can get it on my Steam account. That's
There you
great.
go.
And 5 out of 5 on the Microsoft Store.
2015.
Okay,
2015.
that sounds like it's worth playing.
Yeah, it's definitely worth playing. And the new game from the developers is looking similarly exciting, but very, very different.
Yeah.
So it's based on Cyberpunk 2020, which is a tabletop RPG, so like a sort of Dungeons and Dragons style game. It's set in a dystopian, high-tech, 80s-infused future where everything is neon, everyone is a cyborg, there's incredible poverty, mega corporations run America, and you are a sort of soldier.
That's a bit Blade
fortune.
Runner, isn't it? In that
Very
sense.
Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Very, very Blade Runner.
Now, wasn't this
It's Blade Runner the RPG?
Isn't Cyberpunk 2077 a film also? Because I remember quite a few years ago there was a really awesome trailer of this cyborg woman horribly killing huge groups of like cyborg police, I believe, or police. And it was really great. It was all 3D done. It was very, very dramatic. And it was this, I think it was just a teaser trailer before it was officially announced that this was coming. And I thought that was for a film. But I don't remember.
It was a teaser trailer. It had a sort of bionic woman, and she had like mantis claw metal arms.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so that was a teaser trailer for this game that I believe came out in 2013. That's how.
Oh, it was for this game.
Yeah, it was for this game.
Okay, so it wasn't for a film that then came out that year.
No, it was for this game. That's how long this has been on the boil.
Wow.
And yeah, so it's been very, very long awaited, and we weren't sure we were going to get to see it this E3 or perhaps ever. But lo and behold, there it is, and it has been shown off in quite some detail. They've put out there a trailer, which is a very, very cool trailer. It's about a minute and a half long. Privately at E3, they were showing members of the media a 50-minute gameplay demo. 50, of which no footage is available anywhere. So, although I've seen that, we can't
get that B-roll from you.
You can't get that B-roll.
Put on the podcast.
You can't see it, so you'll just have to take my word for it, basically.
Should we mime?
We can try actually.
It's this.
Well, the first thing I would mime is this because it's first person.
Okay.
Which is a little bit surprising and not typical for big open world RPGs. It's got full character customization, so you can choose your gender, you can choose tattoos and hair, what color your eyes glow. You can choose your backstory, like in Mass Effect. So it's an RPG down to its core. Yeah,
okay.
It's very cool.
But very modern but will it still have the same RPG tropes in terms of it's like skill tree development and you get bigger and better weapons, presumably as you get further into the game, all the usual things you'd expect from any RPG.
Yeah.
But the setting is this dystopian modern world full of robots and stuff.
That's exactly right. It's probably most akin to Deus Ex, if you've seen any of the recent Deus Ex games, but it's got a slightly different aesthetic. It's got a slightly sort of more madcap, kind of amped up, kind of wired kind of thing. It's not like Deus Ex is a little bit kind of cool, like Neo from the Matrix, kind of like, hey. Whereas this is more. Does
it take itself very seriously? Is it that sort of game where like it's not trying to make some sort of social statement? It's very much here's just a lot of nonsense and big bangs and stuff.
To be honest, I think both. I think it looks like one of those brilliant games that might be able to sort of have it both ways. Because the game doesn't look like it takes itself too seriously. In the 50 minutes that I saw, there was definitely humor and satire, but it is. The story is serious. It's not like a game like Borderlands, for example, where everything is like ridiculous and cartoonish. It is. The story is quite serious. The stakes are quite high for your character. So,
Okay.
Yeah, it looks really good.
So that's one to look forward to. And is that due out this year, or is that announced, but we don't know
I don't
when?
think we actually know the release date exactly.
So probably not this year then in that case.
No, but the detail it's been shown off in, I wouldn't be surprised if it was next year.
Okay, next year. So let's look towards some of the other big titles that have been discussed. Last of Us 2 obviously made a big splash. Did we know that? Obviously, we assumed, as I said before, that there would be a Last of Us 2 in some way, but had we heard anything about this before E3? Was this the first time we've had an official line on this?
No, we'd seen little bits and pieces. We'd seen a couple of trailers, sort of very moody trailers. This is the first time that we've seen really detailed gameplay of it.
Okay.
And it looks absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of questions because Sony has this habit, and this is a PlayStation exclusive game, which is what was shown off at Sony's press conference. Sony has this habit of putting out these sort of maybe 10 to 20 minute long gameplay videos with no context and no narration and nothing else. So you get what you can see, and this is out there. You can watch this Last of Us gameplay thing. And if you're not afraid of some graphic video game violence, I would recommend it. It is quite strong.
It's brutal.
It's really brutal. But yeah, so that is out there and you can watch it, but there are a lot of questions. So in this you were playing as Ellie, who was the sort of sidekick character in the first game.
Yeah, the young girl who no longer a young girl.
No longer a young girl. She's more grown up now.
Yeah. She looks like late teen, so I'm guessing.
Yeah, well, this is exactly the thing. You see this, and you get a vague idea, like, oh, okay, so she's a playable character, probably the protagonist, and she's older, but you don't know exactly how old or anything.
Yeah, but she looks. She's not grizzled and old. She's not 50. She looks about maybe 20.
No, she doesn't look 50. Yeah, maybe
about 20. Yeah, maybe, late teens, early 20s.
Maybe 20. Yeah. So the what they showed off, and you'll be able to kind of to show this, is that they had it's this nice dance scene thing that's going on where Ellie's like having in the middle of some sort of ball, like post-apocalyptic kind of survivor's ball. It looks like, and
there's a bit of a romance between
an
unnamed girl who isn't a character who we know about.
No, she's not a character from the first game. She looks like a new character.
Yeah,
but yeah, she has a romance with her, and it's all very, very sweet. And then all of a sudden, it just cuts to Ellie cutting someone's throat.
Yeah,
and it gets more graphic and more unpleasant from there. Yeah, but it looks absolutely incredible. It's by Naughty Dog, who are the developers that made Uncharted.
Yep.
They do a brilliant line in games that just look absolutely staggering, are beautifully acted, beautifully written, and tear your heart apart emotionally.
Yeah, well, that's what happened with the first Last of Us. It ticked all the boxes that people wanted for a really engaging, really cinematic game. So is Last of Us 2 due out this year, or is that another announced this year, probably available?
I don't think we have a release date for that.
Okay.
But let me do a quick check.
Have a quick look.
Do.
While we're having a look, we'll talk as well about Tomb Raider, the new Tomb Raider, because that is due out at the end of this year.
That is out real soon.
And we've seen more info about that from E3, and I know that you went to like a hands-on gameplay fairly recently, I think. You and Ellen, your co-host from Outside Extra.
Yeah, she's played it. I actually haven't played it yet.
You haven't played it, but she has.
Yeah.
What's the general thoughts, the sentiment around that at the moment?
I think the sentiment is pretty positive. So the last two Tomb Raider games have been really good. They're both part of these new reboots, and this is going to be the sort of third in a trilogy of those new games.
Okay.
And it looks really good. It looks a little bit darker. Thematically,
the last one was dark. Like
the last one was dark.
Took a twist.
Yeah, I think this one has. I think we're going to see a little bit more of character development for Lara in this one, which is interesting because when they brought it back to her first adventures, and she was a little bit of a newbie. She was a little bit green, a little bit unsure of herself.
She had to learn how to kill, which she did immediately, and then carried on killing unendingly throughout the entire game.
Spectacular aptitude for it.
She just loves to kill.
It's amazing, isn't it, when you find out what you're good for and you just say, "This is what I was born to do."
Finally, I know.
Kill men in the jungle. Yeah, so she's gone full the Predator in this new one.
I loved the last Tomb Raider. I played that several times through because I played it first time when it first came out, and then there was the remastered version, which I played, and then I I was just bored, so I just played it through again because I really enjoyed it. So I'm really looking forward to playing this one because the gameplay clips I've seen so far do look really good. The trailers look great, and if it's as engaging as the last one, then yeah, I'm absolutely sold. And that's out. I want to say September. I think they just said fall 2018, which is autumn.
Yeah, it's
That's
out.
what we call autumn.
It's out in the next few months. That is 14th of September. Yeah,
Okay,
and
September,
there is
yeah.
no release date yet for The Last of Us 2.
No release date for Last of Us. Okay, well that's yeah, I think that's cool because. As I say, big fan of Tomb Raider. Looking forward to playing that, but it isn't a reboot. But we have seen quite a few reboots.
Yeah.
Because of course, Resident Evil 2 was, I think, one of the big surprises of the show.
Yeah, big surprise.
Yeah, so that's just Resident Evil 2, but remade.
Yes.
It's not like the next chapter of that storyline, is it?
It is, and it isn't just a remake. So, for example, a few months ago we had Dark Souls Remastered, which is what many remasters are. They take the original game, they apply new textures, and they make it look graphically beautiful. This is something a little bit more involved remake-wise. They've started from scratch almost. They kind of pulled the game apart because Resident Evil 2 is such an old game now.
Yeah.
It came out in the late 90s, I believe, and it sort of had those like old Resident Evil tank controls where you kind of like spun your character around on the spot and then made them walk forward. So now it's a pretty dated game, and yeah, I think they've. From what I hear, my colleagues Jane and Andy got to play this at E3. It sounds like they've really amped up the horror and given it just a complete visual makeover. It's built in the engine, as in it uses the game technology from Resident Evil 7, which came out last year.
Which is brilliant.
Really, really brilliant. So I'm super excited about this. I never actually played Resident Evil 2, so...
I didn't play the first time around, but this does look good. And yeah, you're right, in terms of like the style, it has very much got darker, like... literally darker. I saw the gameplay that Jane and Andy they played, and rather than it being this full, well lit, police station, everything's very dark, and you've got to use lights, and there's a lot more. Just feels like a lot more threat there. Everything about it feels a lot more threatening than previous Resident Evil did.
Modern games have this obsession with the fear that comes from having just like a cone of light.
Yes.
With your torch and like having to explore a room where you can only sort of ever see like a little bit of it.
Which totally works because Resident Evil 7 honestly scared the bejesus out of me. Particularly
the bejesus came out.
When it did. It was all over the place, and particularly in VR because I honestly found even when I played just the game normally, and I played it on my gaming laptop, and I had to make sure I was playing in a fully lit room, and I had Parks and Recreation playing on my TV, so that I had just something to take the edge off that anxiety.
Something to
because
anchor you.
if I just focused on the game alone, it just got my blood pressure just got higher and higher and higher until I just had to go and calm down. And in VR, that is you're only in that world. I really found it too challenging. I couldn't do it. I could not play Resident Evil 7 in VR.
I think that's a sensible move. I tried it in VR, and yeah, it's very, very intense.
Yeah.
It's also quite hard to play, as all VR games tend to be, for more than about 10 or 15 minutes. Yeah.
But this did make me think, though, the Resident Evil 2 remake, because it was last year that I think, maybe even the year before, when we had the Final Fantasy VII remake announced, and yet I haven't heard anything about that in recent
nothing about that
months.
At E3. But I think that's going to be a similar kind of deal. It's going to be such a substantial remake.
Yeah, they're planning on rebuilding from the ground up. Everything's new. The storyline apparently is going to be vaguely the same, roughly the same, but all the mechanics, all the maps, all the worlds, everything about the game is being redone, and some of that really intrigues me. I can really see the whole world coming to life using modern graphic technologies, but I don't want them to completely bugger about with the battle system that made Final Fantasy VII great and try and apply all the plot
that people love.
Yeah,
got a good feeling about that Aerith.
But we haven't.
It's going to be okay.
Everything's going to work out fine for her. But we haven't heard anything about that since, and so I'm not quite sure still. And in fact, we could Google, and we'll carry on talking while we do. But I'm not sure when that's coming out.
And I'll jaw a little bit more about Resident Evil 2.
Yes,
because I think the fact that they have taken such a drastic approach to the remake means that if you didn't play Resident Evil 2, this will feel like Resident Evil 8. It will feel like an entirely new game. So if you didn't play Resi 2, then I think this will absolutely be worth checking out. And if you did, you probably have a lot of fondness for it because the game was very good and you'll get an extra kick out of it there. So Yeah, it was definitely one of the big surprises at the show, and surprisingly fun.
All I've got in having Googled Final Fantasy VII Remake is a quote from the director saying, "Development is moving along more than expected."
Right.
Which is meaningless. So there's
they're
still
still
no
making
date.
it though.
They are working on it. Yeah.
But I mean, you would say that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
If you had lost all the hard drives. And you would, wouldn't you? You'd be like, oh no, it's all going fine.
Yeah.
While jimmying open the window to make good your escape.
That's a shame.
Cool.
Apparently, what I've read here, the direction was pretty much decided upon, and while preserving the atmosphere of the original, the scenario will dig deeper into the characters, including members of Avalanche, which is the team that joined Cloud, like Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge, who tried to take down the Mako reactors in the early stages of the game. That's interesting, but I'm very sad that we haven't had any more of that, because if I could have played Final Fantasy VII again this year, rather than having to play it again on my phone for yet another time, that would have been fun.
Well, there are other games you could play. Play The Witcher 3 instead of playing Final Fantasy VII again.
Or I could talk to you about Forza Horizon 4, because this is a game that I'm very excited to see, because I love the Forza games.
You love Forza.
I adore Forza, and particularly love the Horizon series.
You love Forza, and you love the British countryside.
Yeah, which brings neatly onto the fact that it's set in the British countryside.
That's right. This game combines all your loves.
Yeah. So
if only there was an owl in it, you'd be set.
Maybe there is. Maybe you can run past and a little owl will fly past your car.
You can hassle sheep. You can drive through.
You can drive through sheep, and you can drive through dry stone walls, but not small picket fences I saw in some of the gameplay footage. One of those stops you and the other one doesn't, and it's the wrong way around. But this is the Horizon part of Forza, which is the big open world, drive anywhere you want, do different challenges en route, rather than the regular Forza, which is pick a racetrack, pick a race car, go do 5 laps. The more prescriptive. This is open world, this is what I love so much about Forza, in the same way as I love it about Grand Theft Auto 5, where you can just take a car and go driving somewhere.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about this. The graphics look amazing. As we say, it's set in, we've seen Edinburgh, we've seen the English countryside, we've seen lakes. There's seasons and weather, so sometimes those lakes will be frozen because of cold. Sometimes there'll be leaves because of autumn. And yeah, I think it looks really good, so I'm super excited about this.
Quick fire, list me off some of the new cars that are in it.
So we've got the McLaren Senna, which is McLaren's brand new super light, super powerful race car, which was announced last year, which I went to see. We've got the Bugatti Chiron,
of course,
which I've seen a couple of times and I photographed. And in fact, before we recorded this podcast, me and Drew Stern from Carfection have spent now 15 hours together building the new Lego kit of the Bugatti Chiron, and we are still nowhere near done. In fact, the people watching on the video version,
Andy has gone to fetch his half-built Lego creation.
Yeah. Apologies for the people listening to the MP3 version, but this is as far.
It looks like a not very good truck.
Yes, but you can tell that in the back, here's the big engine, which we made from scratch, the W16 engine, and here is where the seats are. Is where the classic C shape for the Bugatti Chiron is in there.
Fascinating and terrifyingly detailed.
It's insane the amount of effort that's going into this.
I think if you put actual petrol in it, it would probably go.
I hope so.
It would come to life. Like Woody from Toy Story and run amok while you slept.
But so those are definitely 2 cars that are new to Horizon 4. So I'm really, really keen to play that. Yeah. But let's move on to the Nintendo Switch, which I know is a platform you're very familiar with, as am I, before I lost mine on a plane. Big disappointment, considering the amount of time I put into Zelda and
no
Skyrim.
cloud saves.
I know, but I lost it right before didn't they bring cloud saves out? Isn't that now a thing?
I
thought they brought cloud saves with was a Nintendo Online thing.
It's coming with the online service, but that's not ready yet.
Is it not out yet?
Not yet,
oh, okay. So yeah, I've lost it before they brought that out, which is a real shame. So a couple of big things. We'll start with the fact that Fortnite, suddenly they announced that Fortnite is coming to the Switch and it's out this afternoon. So it is now out.
That was cool. So Fortnite is the biggest game in the world at the moment, more or less. It's absolutely huge, especially online, on Twitch and on YouTube. It is a massively popular live streaming game. Yeah. It's a little bit weird because the game came out and it had this kind of base building, survival, shooting mechanic, and it was sort of interesting, but kind of came and went. Then PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds PUBG came out, which has the Battle Royale feature in which many people enter a world and basically fight to the death in this constantly shrinking arena. And the popularity of that game meant that a lot of other games have introduced Battle Royale modes, including Battlefield. The new Battlefield's going to have one. We know Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is going to have one. And Fortnite quickly added a mode. And Fortnite, because I guess they were quickest off the mark, they actually seem to be the ones who are winning the race because they've got this massively popular game now.
So they're beating out PUBG, are they? Because I've not played Fortnite.
I don't know the numbers, but I think so. I wouldn't at all be surprised, even though the Battle Royale kind of concept definitely... PUBG was the game that made that big.
Yeah, I played PUBG, but I haven't played Fortnite. In fact, I was playing PUBG because I play it on mobile. I've never played on desktop. But I was playing. It is. Yeah. Well, actually, I was playing on my iPad on the sofa without the sound on, so you can't even hear when people are around you. And I got my first ever win, like my full.
Wow, your chicken dinner.
First play, my chicken dinner.
Congratulations!
Chicken win. I was very pleased with that.
Wow.
So Fortnite on the Switch is cool.
Yeah,
so,
that's cool.
And I don't know how much it costs, but it's a download. It's not. You don't need to go and buy a cartridge. So you can just download that.
It's good because it's a very popular game of the moment, and that's what the Nintendo Switch needs. It's been getting a lot of good third-party supports, a lot more than the Wii U, Nintendo's last console, got.
Yeah.
But it needs games that are not a year old or 2 years old. It needs to be while those games are still popular and while they're still being played. So
and I think also Fortnite, and assuming Fortnite has the same general play style as PUBG, in that you go on and you play like a 20-25 minute round.
Yeah, it's quite...
Which is great for, I think, the Switch, where you can, let's be honest, sit on the toilet, fire up a game.
Yeah, I mean, that's the dream, isn't it?
Play around, yeah. But while we're talking on the Switch then, because the other big Switch announcement, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This is the thing that I'm most excited about, I think, probably. I'm a huge Smash Bros. Fan. For those who perhaps aren't aware, the Smash Bros. Series is a fighting game series where a bunch of different characters from Nintendo's history and a few sort of third-party characters as well, like Mega Man or Solid Snake or Pac-Man's in it now. I don't understand the appeal of
Pac-Man. Is in.
I know. And Sonic.
What's his attack? Just waka waka waka.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, they have a massive punch-up. And it's a little bit different to fighting games like Street Fighter in that you don't have a health bar that decreases, and when it goes down, you lose. Instead, every time you get hit, your sort of damage percentage goes up, and the higher your damage percentage, the further you fly when you get hit. And if you get blasted all the way into off the screen or off the platform that you're all fighting on, then you lose a life or you lose the match.
Oh.
And yeah, so it's got this really cool mechanic that has been around for years, but only in the Smash Brothers games. Really, no one else has adopted it. Even though I find it so much more fun than Street Fighter or normal 2D fighting games. I absolutely love it. It's really fast. It's really dynamic. Characters can triple jump and air dodge, and oh man, I absolutely love it. And Ultimate has been a long time coming, and it's now we know when it's coming out. It's coming out for Christmas, early December, I think.
Cool.
What we didn't get at E3 was much information on what's new in the game.
Yeah.
We got one new character and a couple of new fighting stages.
Yeah, including one of the Zelda Breath of the Wild towers I saw.
Which is super cool, and what a stage from Splatoon. We already knew that the Inkling kids, those radical Inkling kids from Splatoon, how I love them, they're going to be in it. Ridley, who's the big baddie in the Metroid series, it's like a horrible dragon who, in the extended universe, probably ate Samus's parents.
That's not nice.
It's super
You
dark.
shouldn't do that.
Ridley's like the nastiest Nintendo baddie ever, yeah. So Ridley's going to be a character in it as well. But
so
yeah,
Massive Dragon
brilliant.
versus Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Doesn't really seem like a fair fight.
Well, I mean, Pac-Man can barely hold his own against a ghost, so yeah, I think it's going to be an absolute slaughter.
Good, looking forward to that.
I think it's going to be... Yeah.
So what don't we know then about the game, Steve?
Well, so they've announced that every fighter that's ever been in a Smash Brothers game is going to be in it, which is cool because that immediately off the bat gives it a gigantic roster, dozens of characters.
Cloud from Final Fantasy VII was in it, wasn't it?
Yeah, he'll be in it.
Yeah,
Wow. They're all there. Everyone, but we do know that by the time the game comes out, there'll be loads of new characters as well, and loads of new stages.
That they haven't announced.
But they haven't said what they are. I've really got my fingers crossed for Pauline from Mario Odyssey.
Yeah. She's the mayor of Donk City.
That's right, New Donk
City.
And Detective Pikachu, I really want, which is just a Pikachu with a little Sherlock Holmes hat
and a surprising voice for a small mouse.
Yeah.
Again, very like noir detective.
Oh, it's brilliant. So that is what I'm hoping to see alongside it. I have a very long wish list of characters that we don't need to get into now, but that's what they didn't talk about. The other thing that Nintendo denied us is a new Metroid, because they announced last year at E3 that they are making a new game in the Metroid Prime series, which were brilliant first-person Metroid games, all of them excellent, and they announced that they were making a new one, but we don't know anything more. There was one of those things like we were saying earlier where there's like, we're making it, here's a logo,
and that's it.
See you in 5 years.
Yeah, bye.
So I really thought we might get a little bit more information, but absolutely nothing.
But what Nintendo did say before E3 is that there's a new Pokemon game coming for the Switch.
Yeah.
Like a new fully fledged Pokemon RPG or whatever, you know, the classic Pokemon title.
Yeah, so this is a little bit of a weird one actually, because last year they said we are making a Pokemon RPG for the Switch, and then recently they have announced, and it was at E3 and I got to play it, these two new Pokemon games for the Switch, which are called Pokemon Go Eevee and Pokemon Go Pikachu.
Yeah.
And the question that everyone's wondering is this it? Is this the thing that was talked about? Or is there a more ambitious game down the line? Because it has to be said that Pokemon Go Pikachu and Pokemon Go Eevee do not look like very ambitious games. If it's on the Switch, it's on a powerful home console. If you want a new, like the first ever big Pokemon RPG on a home console, you want it to be not top down. You want it to be like Breath of the Wild, but full of Pokemon.
Yeah.
You want a vast open world. You want it to look beautiful.
Huge storyline, the arcs all over the place that makes you laugh, makes you cry, makes you learn things.
Exactly. And this, although I think it will probably please Pokemon fans, does not look like that game.
Looks like a mobile game. Looks like an iPhone game.
It looks fairly basic. The other thing that they've introduced, which is it's quite a controversial change. I didn't really realize this until I started playing it, but now they've introduced the Pokeball throwing thing from Pokemon Go, the mobile version, for when you encounter wild Pokemon, which sounds good because that's fun, right? You like throwing the Pokeball and stuff. And, like, who doesn't like catching the Pokemon that way? What I didn't realize is that seems to be replacing, or at least it was definitely completely replacing it in what I played at E3, seems to be replacing having your own Pokemon fight wild ones. So when you catch a Pokemon, all your Pokemon get a little bit more XP, they all level up and get a bit stronger, but they never actually sort of come out and get to fight.
Oh.
They still fight when you're like battling other Pokemon trainers, but I didn't realise how much I would miss that thing of like trying to get a Pokemon down to having just not very much health left, which was the mechanic by which you have traditionally caught Pokemon in the games. You know, you get its health down, you maybe try and put it to sleep or get a status effect, and then you lob a Pokeball right between its eyes, then wham!
When it's really knackered and it's begging for death, you trap it inside a ball.
You deny it that release, and make it your Pokemon.
So
Pokemon's
not totally excited about the potential of Pokemon at the moment.
It's a shame. It's a shame because I'm not really excited about it. But I would.
And you've also stopped playing Pokemon Go, I believe, whereas I am still playing and do have the 3 legendary bird Pokemon. Yay! Although I saw there was an update for Pokemon Go where you can now you can transfer Pokemon to other trainers. So I could, if I wanted, give you my spare Articuno.
Will you?
Maybe. Maybe we'll have to see how the rest of the podcast goes.
Play my cards right. Okay.
We'll just have to see.
Okay.
So those are the biggest things that I want to talk about. But a couple of the other games that The Crew 2 is out later this month. That looks really cool. Again, big open world racer, kind of like Horizon, but
it's got this scaled down map of the US that you can sort of drive clear across.
Including all the good food spots.
Yeah. My colleague Mike Channel, who is a huge racing game enthusiast, is quite excited about this one. He was telling me that the first Crew had the open world map. That open world map of the US was really good because you could get across it reasonably quickly, but not so quickly that it didn't feel like a significant road trip whenever you got in a car and drove off. What I quite like about the Crew 2 is that you can be a plane, and you can fly a plane really high, and then in the air you can turn it into a boat.
And just smash onto the ground.
Yeah, turn it in. Yeah.
If you wanted to.
Yeah.
Or alternatively, can you be a boat and then become a plane and sink?
I'm pretty sure you can turn into a plane while you're a boat, but I don't think you would sink. I can't remember. We'll have to see when it comes out. Yeah.
But then the elephant in the room, as far as I saw it, was the lack of additional information about Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, well, that is because Rockstar, who make Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto 5, and basically the biggest, most successful games.
Yep.
Evs.
And don't they know it?
Well, this actually is it. They really do know it. They don't go to E3.
Oh.
They don't exhibit there. They don't have a press conference.
Rockstar are the Apple of the gaming world, aren't they? In the same way that Apple does not attend MWC or IFA or any
CES,
of the other shows or CES.
That is actually a very, very strong analogy. They are exactly like that. They show very little until they're ready, and then it's a big splashy announcement. You know, it's very sort of closed off. Not very chilled out.
But their products are extremely good. Like but they are always.
That's why they can get away with it because Red Dead Redemption is
totally Apple.
It's Red Dead. Yeah, Red Dead 2 is going to be enormous. It's coming out this autumn. It's going to be. It will almost certainly be absolutely fantastic based on its pedigree and everything we've seen.
I am so excited for it because I actually never played Red Dead Redemption, and having talked to your colleague Andy about it, who is a massive Red Dead fan, and he just said, I have to play it, absolutely have to play it. Yeah, and then I tried to get hold of it and I couldn't. I couldn't get it without spending, it was like 25 quid on Xbox, and I just really thought, I can't bother paying that.
I can see how that obstacle
But it was such an old game, and I kind of just felt, I don't know. And I was busy at the time, so I never bothered playing it. And then now, Red Dead 2.
It's a bad excuses. It was £25.
It was 25 grand, and I was busy, and I remain busy.
You remain busy.
I'm equally, if not more busy than I was at the time. But Red Dead 2 is now coming out, so I think I'm just going to jump in and start with Red Dead 2, which makes sense because it is the prequel to Red Dead anyway. So I'll be playing it chronologically.
You will be, yeah.
Which I think makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so that'll be a big deal. That'll be a big deal. What else was at E3? Fallout 76. Did we?
Yes. No, we have. Yeah, that? I haven't. No.
Can talk briefly about that because that's probably the most controversial game of the show. So anyone who's familiar with the Fallout series will know that they are these big, sprawling single-player RPGs in an open world where you wander around an irradiated sort of post-nuclear wasteland, and live your best life and get cool outfits and new weapons.
Walking around modern-day Ipswich.
Yes. No. But I'll go with that. The games are brilliant. They're full of like quirky NPCs and really surreal quests. There's a lot to love about the Fallout games. And Fallout 76 takes things in a different direction. It is going to be an online survival game that does not have, or at least does not have very many, we're a little bit unsure there, non-playable characters. You will be one of the chosen few from Vault 76, which is one of the vaults that sort of opens up when the dust has settled on the nuclear apocalypse. And you will wander out, you'll build a base, you can acquire nuclear codes, and you can nuke other people's bases. It's a survival game. An online survival game.
So is it a memorp? Is this effectively like the Elder Scrolls Online was to Skyrim?
No, not really. It's a little bit different. I was kind of hoping for that, to be honest. I was kind of hoping for because there were rumors it was going to be online. I was thinking, oh, good, maybe it'll be like Elder Scrolls, but in the Fallout
universe,
But it's not really like that. I think it's going to be emptier than that, and I think there's going to be more of a focus on survival and like building a base. Whereas Elder Scrolls Online is very much just about adventuring. There's going to be cooperative stuff in Fallout 76.
Elder Scrolls Online is just totally Skyrim, but online. You do this similar sort of quests, you go to the same sort of places, and that's why I love it, and I still play lots of it.
So there are a lot of people who understandably are not enamoured with Fallout 76, and I totally get that. I think there are some reasons to be optimistic, chief among them the fact that Bethesda is quite good at online games. So I think that this has a very good chance of being objectively a good game. That said,
because of course Bethesda did Elder Scrolls.
They did Elder Scrolls, exactly. But That said, I do understand that people want a particular kind of game from the Fallout series, and it is not going to be that. Not even close, I don't think. So yeah.
But this isn't going to be. This isn't the new direction for Fallout, is it? This isn't that we know of. This isn't
unless it makes them a ton of money or something.
Well, yeah, but this isn't instead of Fallout 5.
No, but like, there's no sign of a Fallout 5.
But we weren't expecting one at this point anyway. I wouldn't have thought.
Maybe.
It
was about time for some more Fallout, and this is what you're getting this time around.
Yeah. But that does neatly before we finish. Just we can come back to Elder Scrolls 6, which we touched upon in the intro, because obviously if Bethesda have been busy making this Fallout 76, and I believe they have another new franchise launching in maybe a couple of years' time.
Yes.
Called Starfield.
Starfield. Wait, hang on, let me check that.
I almost said StarCraft, but it's not StarCraft. It's
Starfield. I had it in my head until you said it, and I was like, wait, what is it called?
Yeah. So
Starfield. We don't know anything about this really, but what we do know is reason to be very, very excited. We know that it's going to be in space.
Yep.
We know that it's made by Bethesda, and we know that it is their new IP, which is industry shorthand for intellectual property, which is a really unsexy way of saying a new series.
An entirely new thing. And is that their first?
It's their
entirely
first
new thing, because Fallout wasn't theirs, and Elder Scrolls wasn't theirs.
Well, I don't know. It gets a little bit complicated as to sort of who originated what. But this is going to be Bethesda's first new IP in a very, very long time. So it's going to be really, really, really interesting to see what happens with that. And I am hoping that it is going to be a single-player RPG in the mold of Elder Scrolls and Fallout.
Yeah.
But in space.
And you like space. Excited. You like space.
I kind of like it.
Yeah.
I'm hot and cold on space, actually.
Yeah, the games I think can be. Some of them can be good games, and others it's always very much.
I like Earth. I like games set on Earth.
Yeah.
I like games set on lush planets. I'm much more of a sort of forests person.
Forests and mountains. That's why I love Skyrim. It's set in the best place.
It's much better than the cold, bleak wastes of space.
And you got to worry about oxygen and all that nonsense. Bloody oxygen.
Space. Who'd have it?
And of course, the fact that they're making this new IP, as you say, is delaying Elder Scrolls 6. And all we know is that there will be...
We don't know that it's delaying it. We don't know...
Well, if they had nothing else to do, Elder Scrolls 6 would be out next year, let's say.
But here's the thing. They have so much to do. They're so busy counting their money from all of the different places that they've found to sell Skyrim.
This is true.
They
also have a mobile game. They have Elder Scrolls Blades coming out, which is on the phone.
They'll be hoping to replicate the success of the Fallout mobile game, which was, as I understand, a real money spinner for them.
Was it?
Yeah. Okay. We'll get Elder Scrolls 6, but I was a little surprised that they announced it. To be honest, I thought they'd probably just put Skyrim on a toaster or
something else,
something like that, and make all the money again another time.
Or the graphic novel or a film or something.
New Doom as well. Just before we finish, they're making a new Doom.
Another new Doom. Even though we've only just had New Doom.
Well, only just. That came out in 2016, I want to say.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Time for New Doom.
Yeah, and this one won't be out this year. We don't know much about it, but Doom is great.
But it is coming. Yeah. Okay, so the final thing before we go.
Yeah.
Of the games that have been announced and that we know are coming this year and next, what are your top 3?
Oh, I get 3. Wow.
You get 3.
Cool.
Yeah, I wasn't going to ask you for your top 1, but I do want them in order. So I want your top 1.
Sure.
But you can have 2 extras.
My top 1, before I went to E3, absolutely would have been Smash Brothers Ultimate, because I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
However, I think Cyberpunk 2077 has just edged it.
Okay.
I am fully aboard the hype train for Cyberpunk. So I'm putting Cyberpunk number 1, Smash Bros number 2, and then it's tricky. Do you know what? Number 3 I'm going to give to a game that we haven't actually talked about but was at E3, and that's Death Stranding.
Okay, I don't know Death Stranding.
Nobody does.
Do you want to give us a quick 1 sentence?
Okay, I'll try. So Death Stranding is the new game from Hideo Kojima, who is the brain behind the Metal Gear series.
Yeah.
Famously eccentric games are what he makes, very weird. and Death Stranding is the weirdest by some margin. It's going to star Mads Mikkelsen of Hannibal fame.
Yeah.
It's going to star thingy whose name's dropped out my head from The Walking Dead. Hang on, I'll get there.
Oh,
bear with me. Bear with me.
The guy
Norman Reedus. Norman Reedus.
Who was on the cover of CNET magazine last quarter.
Was he?
Go and pick it up in newsstands.
It's going to have Norman Reedus in it. And that's about all I can say about it confidently. We got to see the first Death Stranding gameplay at E3, and I'm none the wiser as to what it's actually about. My best guess is that it's something to do with there are these ghosts or this rain that accelerates time when it touches you, and that's why everyone's carrying around a little baby in a jar, and the baby is like a clone of you, I think, so that if you get got by the time monsters, you die, but it accelerates the baby to be a grown-up to the point where you were when you were killed, and that's why everyone has a baby. It's like a little insurance policy, I think. And you're some sort of delivery man, it looks like it's in Iceland.
I like Iceland.
Yeah,
that's the first bit of all those words you've just used in that order that I've been able to kind of latch onto and go, got it. Yeah, Iceland.
I've not played much of the Metal Gear series. I have to say, it's a bit of a blind spot for me. But seeing like the most in-depth Death Stranding stuff, it looks beautiful. It's going to be so weird and haunting, and of course, Kojima of course has it in him to make a really great game. So yeah, I'm gonna put that at number 3. I think actually that's edging out Last of Us 2 for me, just in terms of stuff that I'm curious about. That's weird. That's weird. I'm interrogating my own emotions now, and I'm surprised at what I find.
Did Hideo Kojima do PT?
Yes.
Which is absolutely messed up and terrifying. Yeah. So if he's doing a game where
that was going to be that was a very short demo that was going to be a demo for a Silent Hills game by him. It got cancelled, and you can't download the demo anymore. So it's actually quite rare to find now. You have to but the people who have it installed on from when the demo came out, they can still play it, but no one else can. So,
I've just looked up that Forza Horizon 4 will launch on October 2nd. So for me, my games to look forward to this year: Forza Horizon 4, Red Dead 2, and let's just pick. I don't know what.
Spyro. They're remaking Spyro.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with Spyro.
Let's give Spyro some love.
No, the Crew 2. Well, because if the Crew 2 is too similar to Forza Horizon 4, so I feel like I should give some.
Give it to Spyro.
I'll give it to Spyro. Yeah, Spyro gets it. Cool.
Well done, Spyro.
That's great. Yeah. Which brings us to an end of the show. Luke, why don't you tell everyone where they can find all about you and your ways?
Well, if you're not sick of me by now, then there are many more hours.
Big if.
It's a massive if. Then you should head on over to youtube.com/outsideextra. That's extra with no E. Or just Google Outside Extra. I don't think there's another one. So
I'll put the link in the show notes so you can go and see it then.
It is non-stop gaming nonsense all through the week. We have a wonderful community of viewers, so why not join them?
Did you do any kind of viewer meetup or anything at E3? Because I know you have done that at some of the UK shows.
Yeah, we have been doing meetups recently. We didn't do one at E3 because
we were too busy.
Yeah, we were just too busy. But we did meet. We did get approached a few times. We did manage to meet a few sort of fans around.
That's nice.
So shout out to you if you came and said hello.
And if you want to come and say hello to me, fans of the CNET UK podcast. Oh, I mean. No one does.
Sentence,
no one wants to.
You've got to now give people a means to find you.
Come and say hi. Email me. You can find me with @BatteryHQ on Twitter and Instagram. You can email the show with cnetukpodcast@cbsi.com just to come and say hello, should you want to. And you are at Luke Westaway on Twitter and Instagram, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. Hang on. There might be an underscore in there on Instagram. Bear with me.
I'm so glad you're that. You're that on board with your own.
Yeah, no,
social.
there is.
Luke_Westaway on Instagram.
Luke_Westaway.
Or Luke Westaway on Twitter.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Underscore's very important.
There will not be a show in 2 weeks' time as normal because I am, as of Saturday morning, going away on a 2-week road trip tour all around Slovenia and Croatia. and Italy and France and Germany and Austria and various places.
Various places.
In the new VW camper for a big feature. So do please keep, if you're interested in travel and tech and photography and all that stuff, keep your eye on my Instagram channel. As I said, it's at BatteryHQ, and you will find out all about what we're doing from the road there, with a big magazine feature to come later in the year. So I will talk about that on our first episode back when I return, which I don't know when that will be.
Are you going to do Instagram stories?
There's going to be plenty of stories.
I'm all about Instagram stories at the moment.
I've never done an Instagram story.
Oh, you've got to get on it. I resisted it for a long time. What a fool I was. It's the best.
Okay, I will do an Instagram story from the road and I will dedicate it to you. Luke, thank you so much for joining us. We will have you again soon, and there's something cool to talk about in games or just to have a chat.
Yeah, I didn't get to talk about any tech.
This was a gaming special.
What even is the iPhone anymore? I don't know. So out the loop.
Oh, they've cancelled it.
Oh,
Apple,
okay.
Yeah, they decided not to. And on that note, it is time to end. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.